friends, welcome in. Alright, I am finding myself. We are in a Candyland event today. And so, up after me is actually our hostess, Crafts by Aimee. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. And we're gonna do something a little different for me. I'm not the best with working with like small things like jewelry, but we're gonna try, okay? So let me bring y'all down. And I don't know about y'all, but that light is getting on my nerve. I guess you guys might say mine. No, it's too dark. Alright, so I have this lid here just so that I don't have beads and stuff sliding everywhere. And I have my little tool kit thingy here. And I pulled out so you can see here, I pulled out all the cards. But these are the little pieces that I have from a Candyland board game that I picked up at the thrift store. And we're going to turn these into some dangle charms that we can add onto, yes, so that we can turn them into like some dangles to hang off of a journal, you know, because that's ultimately what I plan to do with my board. Hello there, Me Mom's Crafty Corner. Welcome in, friend. Thank you so much for being here. Alright, we've had some really amazing crafts so far. I was only able to kind of like skip through because, you know, Mondays are my teaching days and I'm literally just getting home. So I will have to go and watch some replays here. So y'all forgive me on that end. But I will catch you guys, I promise. So we are going to, I do need to drill. And this is just a little hand jewelry drill that I have. And I'm just going to drill in so I can get something into to be able to hold him. I did go right in his forehead, but oh well, he'll be alright. We could also do like the hand. I do plan to pull these to cut these pieces off. Ultimately, that's what I plan to do. So it's just the little guy. But let's see if I can do this one a little bit closer to the top, maybe. And I do like using power drill and other tools of that nature, but sometimes you're better off just using a hand tool because you don't want to, you know, mess up. And so I don't do a lot of like beaded items, but sometimes that is what I end up using. And like I said, let's do one where we're actually going to hang it from the hand. So let me do his little hole on this side. And just go through and then pull it back out. So I do know that we've already had a few ladies before me. I saw Miss Cindy. She was doing a journal. And I saw a guest check, but I wasn't 100% sure. I know it was some kind of paper craft because that's what that is what Miss Vicky does. I did see the presenter before me. she was actually making like an old school candy jar. That was pretty cool. We had somebody else who also made a candy jar out of a mason jar. I saw that. So some really cool ideas. And I thought of doing the of coming in and doing, and I'm just going to sand these just so that there's no rough edges with the plastic, because again these will dangle, so definitely don't want there to be any rough edges, but we don't need that big old piece. He's just gonna be our large charm, you know, for anything, like for a journal that is Candyland themed. So I thought this would be fun to play with, because this is something that been meaning to do, and I just have not done it. And like I said, I thought about doing another board game cover, but I've already done that one, so I was like, no, let's do something a little different for this live. So thank you guys for popping in. I do appreciate it. You had a few. I was this close to using that board game, the actual board, and making a journal cover. I tell you, I was that close to it. Because I love using those old board games and turning them into covers. It's just awesome. I love doing it. It's a great way to repurpose, because many times when you get these games at a thrift store, they're missing pieces and stuff, and so, you know, but it's a great way to repurpose them, turn them into stuff. I do want to actually make a full Candyland journal, so that will be coming. I will be using the board to make the journal. But today we're just going to focus on trying to make these charms to dangle from that spine. So but yeah, I love doing that. It is a lot of fun. And now that I have the laser that it will do the cutting for me, it's even easier. It is even easier. But like I said, using it's coming. It's definitely coming, because we will be changing and turning that into the cover for a really fun journal. And I've already got some fun colored scrapbook papers that I found in my stash, and I've started pulling those to the side. So one of the things that I'm doing is, because I'm finding it a lot easier, is to have bins of themes, right? So I'll have, you know, like a Candyland theme. I'll have a theme with you know, other things, which is really fun. Hi there, Miss Bonnie. Okay, so I don't need those anymore. Put those away, because I'm done with the plastic part. I can put that one away. And then I have these leftover beads that I got to do some bracelets and stuff with the kiddos at school for their art class, and there are like little candy shapes in here, so I thought that would be really good to, you know, pull out some of these shapes and some of these beads for this, and then just, you know, have all kinds of really cute little, and make us some candy themed items to go here. And they're even like strawberries and some grapes and some other fruits, which is kind of fun to see them. So we'll add those in there just because I think it'll be fun. So let's see. So we do have the 3. Let's see what we can use. I'm trying to see if I find any more. And then see, there's like these little charms, like ice cream charms. And if you're wondering, these did come from the Dollar Tree. But I ended up mixing them up so they don't look like this, okay? Just so that y'all know. But you can find these. They do have them. It's just they're not going to be exactly like this. Because at this point, the girls were either mixing things up or deciding what they wanted. And then I think these were actually a whole separate bag of beads that I had picked up at Dollar Tree as well. And then there's all kinds of shapes in here, like stars and things of that nature as well. So we'll get some of those out. Hey there, Miss Wendy. Hello, hello. How are you doing? Hopefully you are having a wonderful afternoon and all the things. Okay. And then I do have a bag over here of other miscellaneous beads and such that I figured we could pull from. So again, I'm not a big jewelry person, but I do end up somehow with like these most random, you know, collections of things. So I figured I could use some of this stuff up today. That's to make earrings. I don't need that. Okay. And let's start getting just tired. I'm sorry to hear that you're tired, my friend. That's no fun. Okay, so let's start by putting some rings on these guys here. Okay, so let's start by putting some rings, and there's no rhyme or reason to why I'm using which ones. It's just whatever I've got, right? I got a green one. Let's use the green one on the green guy. Put that through. And I'm sure that if any of y'all are, you know, are jewelry makers, you're probably yelling at me for using everything wrong. And I'm sure I am. But I have no clue what I'm doing. I just put things together. But I thought it would be fun if we did these things together so that you guys could see that, you know, you can repurpose even old pieces of games and make things with them. I'm excited to see what Miss Aimee will be making. I do have a blue one, so we're going to use the blue on the blue. Hope you are doing well, Miss Michelle. Thank you for joining today. So today's theme is Candyland. And Candyland has been around for a long, long time. It's a fun game that helps children to learn their colors, learn to count, you know, and it's really nice that we still have the game around. I've seen more portable, like on the go versions lately. Usually to find a full-fledged one, I've only seen them at like the thrift store. But that's fine. Hi there, Miss Patty! How are you, my dear? Welcome, welcome. We are working today with the theme of Candyland. Alright, now I do need to grab some wire or string. I think I'm going to get wire. I think I'm going to do wire just because I think I can have a little more control over it, maybe. Well, let's see. Let's see what I can do. I do like this string, though. So if you guys make dangles and stuff, what string or wire do you normally use? I would really like to know, because like I said, I'm not usually making dangles and stuff because I am not good with like the jewelry making side of things. Honestly, I tend to mess stuff up. You're curious to what you're making? Oh my goodness, we might be in trouble if you're curious to what you're making. Because if you don't know what you're making, that might be a bit of a problem. Just a small little bit of a problem right there. Hemp cord. Alright. Well, when you make dangles, what do you use? This is some kind of cord. Don't know what it is. Don't ask me, but it is definitely some kind of cord. That's for sure. Oh, you've never made one? See, I've made with like elastic. I've made where it's just like a chain of the rings, and the stuff hangs off of the rings. But like, that's why I said I'm definitely no expert, because I use whatever I have. It's whatever I find. And that's the truth. Whatever I can find is what I'm going to use. And whatever feels right at the moment. Which I think is a good way to craft, because you don't want crafting to ever be, you know, too stifled, right? Ooh, this is a fun one. Look, this one is like a rainbow color. I like that one. That's a fun bead. That's a rainbow bead. I don't, that might be too small, maybe too small. Oh, no, it fit. You see? Can you see them? It's a frame with a painting, a cat with glasses, and then florals. Yep. That's what I got this go around. It'll be a while before, well actually no, it won't be a while. Friday. I think it's Friday I go get my nails done again. I think. If I remember right. No, I need a funky size. Let's do this star. We'll do the purple star. And then the other thing is figuring out how long it's gonna be. And you gotta remember that you still have the big old piece at the bottom, so definitely don't want to go too crazy on it. Let's see if I can add this, if this will go through. This is a butterfly. I think this one will look cute. See? Yeah, I think that's cute. I like that. And then we'll put this orange one. You love them? Well, thank you. So, anybody got plans for their this weekend? Y'all know what it is, right? Y'all know what this weekend is. Anybody got any big plans? Doing anything special? It's our very special time to celebrate mothers. So hopefully y'all will be celebrated, or you get a chance to celebrate with your mother. I'll be messaging mine because obviously I cannot be over there, but yeah. I know my son told me I better make sure that my Saturday is clear. So evidently we're doing something on Saturday. Told husband I wanted stuffed gluten-free strawberry French toast. Oh, yum. Yeah, so that way you can enjoy it. That sounds like a plan. That does sound like a good plan right there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make a knot at the bottom. And then it's going to be from that knot that I'm going to hang my, we may not do a whole lot. Like, I know Saturday, Joshy wants to do something, but other than that, you know, hubby will have to go in to work, so not like we'll be able to do a whole lot. That's good that they're coming to see you. They should. They should come and see you. You shouldn't be, you know, have to go and see them for Mother's Day. They should come see you, especially if you're recovering. Yeah, Josh has to work, because we were going to do something on actual Sunday, but Josh has to work. Oops, I tightened that, and I did not need to tighten that just yet. He has to work on actual Mother's Day, so that's why we're doing something Saturday. And then, like I said, Gares, he has to work Sunday, per usual, so let me see if I can get that to go through. Yeah, see, I tightened it before I should have. It's a little bit open now. I should be able to get it through. Like I said, I am definitely not a jeweler, and my hat's down to any creator that does make jewelry, because I can never get my fingers to cooperate with me enough to do all these small things like this, which is one of the reasons why I really don't make dangles all that often. Now I can tighten this. My family is going to dinner Saturday night to celebrate Mother's Day and your sister's birthday. Oh wow, they're together. And having a crawfish boil. Now that's nice. Yeah, because right now it's season, right, for crawfish, if I think Miss Carla was telling me. I think she was telling me that. Because like everything, there's a season for stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to cut off the extra. And then this part here, I didn't tighten it all the way so that I can put it through a bulb pin. And then that way I can dangle that. I can dangle this off of my journal spine. So this is number 1. So I'm going to put him over here. I'll try to see how fast I can make another one. Yeah, because I was asking her about that, but she said by the time we got there, it would be past. And I was like, darn it. It's like, dang nabbit. I was like, oh well. but it'll be fine. Because that is actually something I do not think that I have actually had before, is crawfish. I don't think I have. I love, you know, to hear about like the regional foods that everybody has. I find that, you know, just awesome how there's so much diversity even in the foods. Just from region to region, let alone because of like what is traditional, but just like what you can find in general, you know, I think is really cool. Let's put this one here. So have the little charm as well. So while I'm making these for a journal, you can totally make these, you know, for other projects as well. It doesn't have to be just for a journal. Like these would make really cool bookmarks. You could totally make them and turn them into like a bookmark. So instead of being like on the spine, you know, you would, the way I would do it if I was doing it as a bookmark is I would not leave enough piece that it's the bookmark, and then knot, and then do the large dangle, so that this is what would be in the pages, and then this would hang off of the back side or spine of your book when you close it. So that's another way to, you know, use dangles that's not that's not just for I need to cut this because this got frayed. And it's gonna make it harder. Try to get this last one in so that we can start tying things. So I think that looks fun. Alright, so I want to make the knot up top so that everything doesn't fall off. Definitely don't want stuff to fall off, that's for sure. I think actually I want to redo this before I go knotting it, because I'm not too happy with some of it. I don't like some of the colors in there. So we're going to redo this. And this is honestly something that is slow and quiet enough that you could just have like a, you know, like this is the lid to one of those like photo boxes. You just have something like this filled with a bunch of different items, and you can just be watching a show or something, and you know, just playing with all the different pieces, having them go through, you know. I think that is part of the fun, is to get all of the different color variations and different things coming through. And one of the cats just decided that they were going to go outside and making a whole lot of noise while they're at it. Oh my gosh, I gotta laugh. I've got to laugh. Why are you making that much noise? So not called for. Luna! And honestly, until you tie the ends, you know, you can play around with the placement of things. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you can change it. You know, that is truthfully one of the best parts of this, is that you can be like, nope, I don't like that. I don't want that to be like that. And you can change it and make it whatever you want it to be. And again, I got this box at the dollar store. On Candyland theme, I think this is perfect, honestly. I do. It's not as long, okay. Which means that we need to add something to this. Alright, so let's add this one. And purple. I already have a purple. Add a letter in. That'll be fun, because that'll be very different. And then after the letter, we can add maybe... No, I already have a stripe one. So maybe we can add then an orange star. see if they're about the same length. Okay, now it's a little bit longer. That's fine. Especially if you're going to put multiple dangles on a journal, you do want to end up having a little bit of height variety, so I'm good with that. And just going to make this knot. I didn't tighten this one all the way, so you can still see a little bit of the loop is open, and that again is so that I can put a bulb pin through it, so that then I can attach that. Or you can put a ring and then attach it that way. So there's a few different ways that you can go about attaching your dangles to a journal. It depends on how you've set up your journal to dangle the dangles. The little tongue twister there. Dangle the dangles. We're gonna dangle the dangles. So yeah. Alright. Cut this. And let's attach our, oops, that didn't sound all that good. So we're gonna, oh, now he's actually kind of tight, so I'm going to put another ring on him, just for sake. Because he is just very, very tight. And I just don't want to have any issues trying to tighten it. Okay, so there is number 2. Alright, and let's work on the last one. Then I think this might be hemp. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what that is, but I don't know, because I am definitely not an expert in these kinds of things. So we're just going to roll with it, and hopefully so thank you so much, Miss Aimee, for having me. I really do appreciate it. I know that you are probably getting ready for your live. Like I said, I'm excited to see what you do. I did want to work on these little things, so I'm glad that I got a chance to do that. Seeing as these will eventually end up in a journal somewhere. But I'm glad I got to actually work on them, because again, you know, not always easy to work on things. Sometimes you need to have that little motivation, and what more motivation than having an event? So that was a good thing. I figured you were, dear. You are good. I figured you were doing something for your life. No worries at all. Like I said, I figured you were doing something for your life. But again, thank you so much for having me. It is definitely an honor to be invited to y'all's events, and I'm always super excited to be able to try to participate in something and try to get things, you know, creatively done when possible. And we will do the candy. We'll do this small little one here. Maybe add an orange flower. Yeah, while you'll be crafting, I will be trying to figure out what I'm going to have for dinner. Anybody got any ideas of what they're having for dinner? Y'all might inspire me on what I'm gonna make for dinner. Because at this moment, me no have no clue. I have no clue what I'm gonna make. I just know I gotta make something because I'm hungry. So. Hello, how are you doing, my sweet Cindy? I saw a little bit of your journal that you were working on. Absolutely gorgeous. Hey there, Miss Sheila. How are you? Welcome in, welcome in. Today is Candyland themed, and we are turning the little figures from the game into dangles. At least that is what I intending to do. turning them in, and we've already done these two right here, and making a third one here. So yeah, just trying to turn these into something cute. And I told Miss Aimee I had thought about doing the I had thought about turning the board into a journal like I've done before, but I did want to work on something a little bit different, so we're working on this. And I'm using I bought this bead kit at Dollar Tree for my students to use, and so we had a bunch of things left over, so I was like, well, we are going to use those now because I, you know, need to use them for something. So that's what we're doing. Using up these beads, and they are perfect for the theme. At least I think they're perfect for the theme because of them being you know, all these like what did the girls call them? The girls gave them a name. They actually, it was like something like candy bracelets or something like that is what they were calling them. Because I gave my students the option to like pick some things to do in arts and crafts this year, and because they were my middle schoolers, so you know, I wanted them to have some choices, and they mentioned these style of bracelets, and I was like, okay. And then I found these, and they were like, oh, those are candy bracelets or something like that, they said. And I'm like, to me, a candy bracelet, I don't know if y'all remember, were the ones where it was actual candy and you would eat the stuff. That's what I think of when you say candy bracelet. So when they first said that, I was like, how the heck are we gonna make candy bracelets? I'm gonna bring a bunch of different candies. And then I was enlightened that no, it has to do with the type of beads that are used. They're supposed to be like bright colored and bubble and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, well, never mind this old timer then. So, because I evidently had that wrong. I know, right? Those are so good. You could get the necklace, you could get the bracelet. So, yeah. I mean, kids know what a ring pop is because those are still around, but it's like the candy necklaces. Those were like the bomb. Those were amazing. I liked them at least. So I thought they were cool. But yeah, no, it was supposedly this style of beads and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, well. And then I happened to see that there was 2 different kinds of Dollar Tree, so they got lucky on that one. Okay, so I think we are good. So I'm going to go ahead and make my knot again. And once again, I'm going to make sure that I leave enough for me to be able to do the button candy. Yes. Wait. Oh, I think it's the Ace Hardware thing. They sometimes carry like the old-fashioned candy, as they call it, and they'll have stuff like that. It's like, yeah. You know, the things that we remember from our childhood that would not pass a lot of things nowadays is kind of crazy. Okay, so again, I left a little bit of a loop there when I tighten this. We're just going to cut this off and put the rest of this twine thingy. I'm going to get this one so we can put it there. And then we're going to go and see what Miss Aimee, our hostess with the mostest, will be creating today. And then these are going to go into my Candyland themed box. And when I am ready to do my actual journal, I will have 3 different dangles already made for it. So what do you think? Cool, huh? And it doesn't have to be expensive beads, you know, I mean, yes, I did mix in some of the beads that I had from this jewelry bag, but you can use just other beads and make them. And I did try to make them into 3 different lengths so that I can play with that as well when I go to hang them. So I think that they came out really cute. I hope that you guys like them. Hi there, Miss Susan. And that you guys are inspired to think outside the box when it comes to, you know, games and game pieces and what you can do with them. You know, we drilled little holes into these with my little hand drill, and then we just put some of these loops, the jewelry loops that even the Dollar Tree nowadays sells these the bags of these, and you just need some pliers to open them up. But I think that it's, you know, a lot of fun, and I hope that you guys like it and are inspired to try something like that, and give it a whirl. You know, there's a lot that we can do with these games that are being discarded. So if you see somebody in your local, you know, like a local buy nothing group, and they're giving away board games, you know, or you find them and they might be missing pieces, you can still do a lot with what you have left. So don't discard those old board games just because they might be missing something, okay, or because they're no longer cool to play. So thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the idea of taking some and turning them around. Let's go see what Miss Aimee has. She should be up and in the group. The description has the link to the group, but it is you know, your Crafty Friends Unite event group. It is a free group. Please go and join it and see what everybody else has. We still have lots of creators for the rest of the evening. So I hope to see you guys later.